Lamism developed in Tibet in the Tang dynasty and then passed into Mongolia and northeast China. Lamaism is the Buddhism practiced in Tibet. This type of Buddhism is the Indian Mahayana Buddhism, intermingled with elements of Asian Tibetan religions. High person indicates great stature in the Buddhist religion, a noble man of much wisdom and good works, standing higher than all others. Therefore, a high person, a Tibetan Buddhist Lama, is like the abbot in Chinese Buddhism. Abbots are the monks' instructors. They pass on their wisdom in the same way as any other type of teacher. The abbot.
Step down from me 13 steps. Stranger, who's black here, take first step. Won't save you, KRS is my nature. Then correction papers, I'm a motherfucking savior. Hey, give thanks to my makers, not just high. See you later to my haters. Keep it up, adopt a planet on these traders. Even stuff, got full principle. The fifth is just, we damn government, it's not us, the people. Me, the mama, the papa, come first. Find them within the internal compass. Jump on the llama when the industry pulls from the drama when it starts back up. More's on top when we author. This world's more than just, hey, what's up for the slaughter? The abbot, the panda, nobody grander in stature. Prophet Noble Jew Ali is the answer.
The abbot, the abbot,
yeah.
The abbot, the abbot. Lamism developed in Tibet in the Tang dynasty and then passed into Mongolia and northeast China. Lamaism is the Buddhism practiced in Tibet. This type of Buddhism is the Indian Mahayana Buddhism, intermingled with elements of Asian Tibetan religions. High person indicates great stature in the Buddhist religion, a noble man of much wisdom and good works, standing higher than all others. Therefore, a high person, a Tibetan Buddhist Lama, is like the abbot in Chinese Buddhism. Abbots are the monks' instructors. They pass on their wisdom in the same way as any other type of teacher. The abbot.
Step down from me 13 steps. Stranger, who's black here, take first step. Won't save you, KRS is my nature. Then correction papers, I'm a motherfucking savior. Hey, give thanks to my makers, not just high. See you later to my haters. Keep it up, adopt a planet on these traders. Even stuff, got full principle. The fifth is just, we damn government, it's not us, the people. Me, the mama, the papa, come first. Find them within the internal compass. Jump on the llama when the industry pulls from the drama when it starts back up. More's on top when we author. This world's more than just, hey, what's up for the slaughter? The abbot, the panda, nobody grander in stature. Prophet Noble Jew Ali is the answer.
The abbot, the abbot.
Yeah.
The abbot, the abbot. A noble man, with much wisdom, and good works, The abbot.
Our abbot brought us Islamism, no disunity or divisionism. He never died, he survived the great schism, avalanche, lies, and libel. He made us national, not tribal. Impropria persona, don't throw away your Bible. Affirm, never swear, matriarch, not vital. Honors to the mothers, use the menstrual cycles to make way his title. I'm his disciple. Teachings of our abbot needs to go viral. We recycle Quran questions, recital, chakra spiral, lower self stifle, so delightful. Awaiting higher self arrival. Trained us to be mental fittest for survival. Gave up the slave tags for ancestral titles. Back from the dead when the abbot tapped my spinal. Not the heavy metal band, but the path of the left hand.
The abbot, the abbot. The abbot, the abbot. A noble man, with much wisdom, and good works, The abbot. abbot.
Developing inner self is like building physical muscle. Even when we're physically still, we live a spiritual hustle. Must you question our prefer answers and lessons? Been in sessions with those that develop spirit like professions. The message is trust thyself. The more we know, balance with the more that we know the more we don't know. What's focused on survive? We better now we rise. Devise plan, harmonizing my logic and inner man. Stand still, listen to inner voice, articulate will. Fulfillment of the goal is oneness, is truly silence. Inner outer self is one. No plus, no minus, or minus. MYND or harmonization. Physical is lyrical, and us creations waiting.
The abbot, the abbot, the abbot. The abbot, the abbot.
Yeah.
A noble man. There's much wisdom, and good work, The abbot.
It's a journey for whoever's worthy to learn themselves and not to ossify behaviors early. It's still a controversy. Flat earth, round earth, who the first people? They try to calculate a formula to keep it equal. But I am an nemesis to all you supremacists, putting all the emphasis to crush all your benefits, distorting what was relevant, tracing back to Genesis. The proof is in the pudding, we impeach more than presidents. Still we take your precedence, uplifting humanity. Sipping on you dirty more, I'm standing with who's backing me. Year 1933 was a tragedy, a blessing in the same breath, removing all the chains from the brain, so plain left, never disappear, it's essential from this plain flesh, student always learning, this is certain, I am shameless, the abbot to the abbot, we going through the same test,
The abbot, the abbot, the abbot, the abbot. A noble man. There's much wisdom, and good work, The abbot.
Abbott stepped on board the mission, never waited for the first decision. Escape from this corporate fiction, sometimes high, sometimes low, phase in and out. Constant switching, different route, avoid the friction, watch your mouth, change your ditches, status out, the jurisdiction. What we about? Most don't listen, build this house, my solar system, beginning south, we in remission, got no doubt my prophet's mission, my prophet's vision.
A noble man. The abbot, the abbot, the abbot.
So I have to make this quick video highlighting the hypocrisy of Rami Salam El as it pertains to the topics of Moors having the right to bear arms, or if Moors should bear arms, and also his hypocrisy of slandering Brother Jamal and his Rise of the Moors organization. So let's roll the footage.
Should Moorish Americans be bearing arms, having weapons and guns? No. Emphatically, no.
A few moments later.
I was thinking like, alright, what are Moors doing about it? Do we have, for example, do we have a Moorish security company?
Boy, if you don't get...
Where, you know, we have Moorish brothers and sisters, they'll go out into a whole entire community and they'll protect and serve. There'll be peace officers. Do we have a Moorish peace officer organization?
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
We can send our brothers and sisters out and they can help protect and serve our community.
Rise of the Moors.
So we don't have to depend on the police. We don't have to call the police for anything. We can have, do Moors have that?
Rise of the Moors.
What else did I put? Do we have, do Moors have a Moorish legal or law organization, legal company established?
Rise of the Moors.
That we're able to provide representation to our brothers and sisters that have been violated, terrorized, or murdered by the police. Do we have that established? Moors, do we? And let me just address the typical rebuttal, okay? The Second Amendment. We have the right to bear arms. Just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean that you should and you're required or it's mandatory that you use that right. Let me explain.
What does that even mean? What does that mean? Like what does that really mean? You have a right, but that doesn't mean you should exercise the right. What does that mean? Why would you have a right and not exercise it? Like let's take the activity stuff off the table, right? Let's take the activity stuff off the table. Doing something as far as the right. Okay, let's just say breathing. You have a right to breathe, right? Why would you have the right to breathe and purposely not breathe? You know, maybe if you're underwater or something like that. You know, maybe if you're walking through somebody's, exhale of cancer stick that you don't want to inhale, you might hold your breath for that. You know, you might want to put and hold your breath. But most times you're going to exercise that right. Most times you're going to exercise that right. 99.999% of the times, if you have a right, you're going to exercise it. And the only reason that you probably won't exercise the right, the only reason that you probably will not exercise the right is because somebody's barring you from exercising it. Somebody's deliberately put in their place in the way of you exercising your right. That's the only way that you wouldn't exercise a right that you have. That's the only way. Because if you have a right, it's not to be lawless. If you have a right, it's not to be criminal. If you have a right, it's not to do the lower self things. If you have a right, you should at least be using it for the higher good of man if you got a right like that. If you got a right like that, if you have a right to contract and you contract with some people and you got yourself an exemption account worth unlimited gazillions, how come you're not telling everybody else how to do that? Why are you charging? If you know that it works like that, if you know that all you have to do is go to these people in China, make passports, call them Morris travel documents, and Morris could travel anywhere in the world, then how come you're just not giving that away? Why are Morris paying? Why? Why should Morris have to pay? That's a right. What are you paying for? You found out how to skin the cat one way. You freaking skinned the cat one way. And now everybody's cat can't get skinned because your way is only your way. They're trying to skin the cat, doing all types of stuff, getting scratched up and all that, and you just got the clean swipe on the cat skinning. You're a cat skinning master, and then you're charging people. If they have it like that, why don't they just give it away? Because it's really the people's right. They just found out something. But whatever it is that any more out there is doing that works, that's yours. They should be telling you, hey, you know what? Well, actually, I see what you're saying with why you dealt with them that way. But, where we are, this is how we deal with them. We deal with them this way. And it seems to work. Maybe you want to try that way where you're at and see what happens. You already tried other stuff and nothing happened. So, try something different. Not, oh yeah, we got the course over here. Come on over. 800, and we'll let you know what you could do in your jurisdiction against these colonists, because we're the sovereign grand commanders of the Royal Moorish Army. Playing games with you. Willingly playing games with you. Just because they want to play games with you. Not for anything else. Just because games with you. And they want to try to control you from exercising your right. Everybody wants to own your right. They want to own your right. That's your right to do whatever it is that, or not to do. That's your right to exercise however you see fit to exercise it. It's your right. And no one can sanction you because they have some title. They're the grand whoever. So that means, oh, you have to go under them in order to exercise your right. What are you talking about? Well, you need to sign a contract with us so we could be the power of attorney of all your documents, and then you can go exercise the right. Love this. Please, peace, more.
Peace.
Happy Holy Day.
Peace.
Happy Holy Day to all the Moors out there.
I just want to say, the UN, which you know, we're not going to talk about what they really are, but the perceived idea of what the UN is, their little security force that Rami's talking about, the blue hat guys that says UN on it, they have AAVs, they have amphibious assault vehicles, they have guns, they have bulletproof vests, and they're a peacekeeping force. Also, if you just Google search any peacekeeping officer, all of them have guns, right? And then literally there's a university out here called Brown University, and the Brown University security guards have guns, and they have the same type of cars that the police have. Like, they literally look the same. It's just, it says Brown University on it, and the colors are slightly different. Also, when you read the Second Amendment, it specifies that a well-regulated militia is necessary, meaning it's not optional. It's necessary to the security, since he's all about security, of a free state, which we're supposed to be a free people. So you can't condemn a militia and then say you need a security force when a militia is a security force.
Where does the confusion lie in that? Like for example, if we say, just like example, if he says martial arts, that's a security force, even if you don't have guns.
Yeah. And
if you're just doing martial arts and all you're saying is, okay, when they come, we're gonna have our staff, our nunchucks, our throwing stars, our whatever, then so what's the difference between so where does the confusion come from, where people hear militia and then they get panicked and whatever like that, but then when they hear martial arts, or when they hear, you know what I mean, sledgehammer or throw, you know,
sports
bottles at each other, whatever the hell it is, how come that's not equated with being this thing that the militia is, that they can't be part of because they might have saw a bullet or something and got scared? Like, what?
No, that only pertains to Moors. Like, if you spoke to Rami about Europeans and their militia, he's not going to say, well, they're domestic terrorists and they don't need that. They just need peace officers and they just need to learn martial arts and that's it. He's not going to say none of that stuff. It's our people not trusting our people to protect our people. But then he's going to blurt out of his mouth, we need our people to protect us, so we don't need the police, but you don't even trust your own people. Right? And then if you just do an etymological search on the word martial arts, and the word Mar means, as in Mars, the god of war, right, means warlike. Or, so it's literally the studying of war. That's what martial arts is. So no one's waging war right now with just fisticuffs. It's not happening.
You sure?
100% positive.
I thought the guy might have came out of the bushes with, like, you know, just running at you with his hands,
Put him
like,
up.
I'm gonna get you.
even when you go to court for a civil matter, the guards in there, the security in there is armed for a civil matter. So that's peaceful. That's just civil, a verbal argument, a dispute between a
You,
contract, a
you,
parking
you
ticket.
sure? You sure? You sure about that?
Yeah, we was in court today. Yes, 100% sure.
Okay, so hold on a second. Okay, so if they, okay, so what allows them to have guns or whatever, be quote unquote armed,
Yeah.
have a freaking metal detector you got to go through before you go in there, so you can't go in there armed or whatever, but they could be armed.
I mean, if we're being honest, they have the right to self-determination just like we have the right to self-determination. They have the right to self-govern just like we have the right to self-govern. It's just they're enforcing their self-government on us. You know what I mean? So it's not really an issue like that. It's just we're suffering under the iron hand of Rome because we don't know who we are. So if they were doing what they were doing and they weren't bringing us through their system, we wouldn't have a problem with it. The problem is they're treating us like dog shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the same rights, you know, well, I shouldn't say the same because they don't have the same exact rights as Moors, but they have similar human rights. You know what I mean? It's just on our land, they don't have the same amount of rights that we have. You know, so they're exercising their Second Amendment right to protect their judges and protect their clerks and protect their courts.
Their jurisdiction is protected.
Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do.
So shouldn't they be called sovereign citizens then? If you're saying militia, which is what they're doing, is the same thing that what the Vatican did, what the UN did, is what you're saying for the Moors.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, protect ourselves.
What U.S. did and said we want a navy and army and all that stuff is same thing that you're saying, but small scale, because our people want to be Negro instead of be Moors. And then, you know, if all the Bloods and Crips said that they're Moors tomorrow, then we'll probably have a militia.
We'd have a pretty decent. Yeah, we'd have something pretty decent. You know? And
we'll have something pretty decent if all the Bloods and Crips right now, if all the Bloods and Crips are who they say they are and they're down for this and Nipsey and all this stuff like that. Okay, how about all of you stop the BS? Right? All of you stop the BS. Nationalize, because everybody knows, you know, Jeff Fort and all that. You already knew he was gang banger and all this criminal stuff. But he came onto the side of where he's supposed to be. That this is about nationality and birthrights. And then what happened? Then got him out of the way. And got everybody else who was down with it out of the way. And started this gang stuff all over again. So if all the gangs out there, all, right? And anybody who's not down with it, figure it out. They shouldn't be around if they're not down with it. If they're not down with the unity, then why are they around? Why are there still drug dealers and whatever? There's not Europeans doing that. So there's obviously a problem that we can fix if we nationalize and then start nationalizing all of everything that we need. All the gangbangers, you're now going to be part of the Moorish militia. That's your transition. All the holistic whatever, you're now part of the Moorish hospital or whatever. All the black guy farmer guys who have all these farms all over the place, and then we can't have our own supermarket yet, and then you got black farms all over the place. There's a black supermarket in every black area that's distributing the food with their black manufacturing company and trucking companies and whatever. Everything's sitting there. The Moors just are being looked at as sovereign citizen and all the BS. They think what we got isn't where it's supposed to be at. So here we are suffering while the remedy is sitting right there to be used. And we could only use it in so much of a capacity because, you know what I mean? You know, praise Allah that one more is 100 bailiffs. So even if one more does something, it's meaningful. But if all our people got on what they're supposed to get on, you know what I mean? Because trust me, when and it's good too that there's other people speaking up about this idea that this thing is not some what you saw happen at U.S. when people are rushing into things and trying to take over government and dumb stuff like that. That's not what militia is about. Like we said again, they never go ask the Europeans, all these Europeans who'd have their children shooting and stuff like that, whatever. They're not telling them about they're violating something. But as soon as Moors start talking about it, now everybody's up in arms, at the same arms that they're saying we shouldn't have or whatever, they're up in arms with them. Right?
Can I comment real fast?
Yeah, go ahead, Moore.
The United States District Court for the District of California just ruled against the state of California's quote-unquote assault weapons ban and deemed it unconstitutional and mentioned the people's right to a militia. So if I'm a domestic terrorist, then that makes the entire United States federal courts domestic terrorists.
Domestic terrorists too. And make sure that.
And Rami's in California.
You talk about that.
Rami's in California.
Make sure you bring that up. All those domestic terrorists who said the domestic terrorists who said that stopping people from exercising their right is unconstitutional. That as a state, not as an individual or some guy, as a state you can't do that. Not as an individual you can't do that. As a state, you can't play around with people's right to a militia. And a right to a militia doesn't mean walking down the street with guns shooting in the air like a dumbass.
Yeah, well regulated.
Well regulated means something.
Sure.
Do you know well regulated means something? Like that has a meaning. Well regulated has a meaning. Right? Because it has to be specific. It can't be vague. This thing can't be vague. Right?
It's crazy because like this case is like a historic case. You know what I mean? Like they ruled against the entire state banning quote unquote assault weapons. That means that applies to every other state. That applies to New York. That applies to Massachusetts. That applies to so-called Rhode Island because they're trying to do the same thing. Like
precedent.
This, it's res judicata. Like, how do you not understand? This affects everybody. You know what I mean? And it's crazy that there's Europeans fighting for the Constitution when our prophet told us to do that.
Yeah.
And there's Moors against it. Like, and then to try to say just because you have a right doesn't mean you should use it. Like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
So stop exercising your First Amendment right then. And then have no right to privacy. So post your address. Post where your son goes to school. Give us your social security number because I'm trying to open up credit cards in your name. Why not? If you know what I mean? Like let's be serious. And then you know, he said he tried to use the Quran. Like, of course, if an innocent man is innocent, then they have nothing to hide. They have nothing to run from, right? Which, since I'm the basically example that he's against, if you look at my case, I specify exactly what happened. Europeans tried to come to my house without a warrant. They didn't show me one, so I didn't let them in. I said that. That's the fact. So, and the charges aren't even gun charges. So, you know what I mean? So, every argument that he has is literally just tiptoeing around the fact that it's our Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. And I never once advocated for anyone to just openly just walk out with your stuff. Even though in Texas, and I think Texas, Tennessee, there's several states that have something called constitutional carry, where they can just walk out, go into businesses, they can go anywhere with their guns out, and they do it. You'll see a European or an Asiatic with a whole shotgun, you know, slung around their back at Walmart, just buying stuff. You know what I mean? So it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous for any more to believe anything that Rami's saying. Like, literally, the only thing that you can believe out of his mouth is that we're Moorish Americans.
And honestly, the more that you don't, you know, open carry and things like that, the more crime is going to here and be like, give me all of your money.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Reason. Hold on. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It says United States District Court, Southern District of California. So I'm pretty sure this is where Rami's at. Miller versus Bonta. And I think Rob Bonta, whatever his name is, was the Attorney General. Yep, in his capacity as Attorney General of the state of California. This is the introduction. And there's the case number 2, so you look it up. Like the Swiss Army knife, the popular AR-15, which AR does not mean assault rifle, it means Armalite rifle, I'm pretty sure. It's a company. So the AR-15 rifle is a perfect combination of home defense weapon and homeland defense equipment. Good for both home and battle. The AR-15 is the kind of versatile gun that lies at the intersection of the kinds of firearms protected under District of Columbia versus Heller. So they're using res judicata. And United States versus Miller. Yet the state of California makes it a crime to have an AR-15 style rifle. So does New York. Therefore, the court declares the California statute to be unconstitutional. Then if you continue to read this document is 94 pages. It also specifies that at the same time, the Second Amendment confers an individual right to keep and bear arms that have some reasonable relationship to the preservation or efficiency of a well-regulated militia.
It doesn't sound like domestic terrorists to me.
I mean, the the United States District Court for the District of California ruled this, and this is where Rami is. So how come he's not doing a full report on this? This is a 94-page document, right? Because I went through. I didn't go through the whole thing, but out of the 94 pages, I also found this where they talk about how there aren't as many assault rifle crimes out there. They're just conflating it in the media, and then I found other cases that they reference talking about the right to bear arms. So if he was to study this document, he would read like over and over and over again, the courts have ruled this is your right.
You're right.
Over and over again.
You're right.
And in that one document, you'll see that. You'll see where they talked about how just study on your own, because it doesn't really matter what I say. Just read it for yourself.
Yeah. And it ain't nothing. 94 pages ain't nothing. It's nothing.
It even specified
from the first time that you put it up.
Oh, sorry.
I freaking looked at it. No, from the first time you put it up, I freaking looked at it. And I knew, of course, they're gonna stand on it. Why wouldn't they stand on it?
Yeah.
They can't. You think they want to be committed for treason when the people wake up or whatever?
Yep.
They don't want their name on no list about they're coming to get them and all that.
And this
about?
The people that sued, they're like a they have a page on Instagram. I shared it. They're a bunch of Europeans. They made this happen, and it even says in the case that the plaintiffs don't have to shoulder the burden of proving that they are entitled to enjoy the Second Amendment right. They don't have to prove it. It's already a fact. The government had to prove or justify the prohibition of that right, which they couldn't.
Right.
That's all I really wanted to say. And one more thing, and I'll hop off. He tried to use, if a woman you never met, you don't even know the person, you don't even know her name, you don't even know her hair color, you know what size shoes she wears, and she accused you of rape. Are you not gonna defend yourself? Are you gonna stay silent because you have the right? Like, come on, bro.
Like, what? Yo,
what are you talking about? That's some old shit that they used to do. A European used to get raped, and then they used to put it on our people, say a black man raped a white woman, and then they'll lynch him.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So now he's using fear. Like obviously, if you mastered your lower self and someone accused you of rape, okay, you're gonna be calm because you already know they have to prove that.
Right.
So most likely, you're gonna shut your whole mouth because they would have to prove it. You would wait, get discovery, see what they're saying, and then prove it wrong. You don't have to say anything. Put it in writing.
Which is what you're gonna have to do anyways if it's going. If you got something,
exactly.
If they got something on you,
and then cross-examine everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he's gonna try to use fear because that's what agents do. They try to put fear in your heart. They try to cause confusions in the minds of the people to drag out the true foundation that has been laid, just like the prophet told you. Wait, isn't he claiming to be Drew Ali on his email?
It's crazy.
And just like he told you, they're trying everything that they can to disqualify him so that they may take charge of the situation.
And those are the people you want to take charge of your stuff. opposed to you handling it yourself? For real? You're not even talking about colonists. You're talking about some trader turncoat guy is who you're putting your trust in.
Yo, the faces he makes are funny. Like, ooh, I got it. Like, you don't like, bro. That Moore, this Moore did a 6-minute video of you literally the first sentence out of your mouth contradicting the next sentence out of your mouth.
Few moments later.
And then you had the nerve to talk about the insufficiency of knowledge. Like, what do you?
Yeah.
You know how it also says in the Quran how, like, you know, the fool will basically show the little pearls of wisdom that he has and show it like this is everything.
Yeah.
Like, that's him. Like, you literally know nothing. The brother said, first of all, the Miranda right isn't a right, it's a warning. Off rip, like, your whole argument is destroyed now.
Right there.
The whole
destroyed.
Thing.
Whole thing destroyed.
He's not going to talk about if someone accuses you of rape, they have to do a rape kit. They have to. They have to. That's crazy. Have to do it. Even if after the rape kit your DNA is not found, they still have to do it and submit that as their evidence.
Yeah.
How come he's not telling you that? He's just saying, what if the sister, you don't even know, she says you raped her? That's a serious crime.
That's serious, yo.
That's not.
Somebody just says that. They just say that. Oh yeah, that guy raped me. What?
That's not.
I don't even know you.
That's not something that's you should take lightly. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about a constitutionally secured right, and he's comparing that to rape.
To rape.
How is that not reaching?
Yeah. If that's not reaching, then my arms are short.
if that's not reaching, then my right sock is Prophet Noble Ali's right sock reincarnated. And that's and don't ask me to prove it either.
Oh, you don't have to prove that. Yo. We'll let you ride with that one. You got the Prophet socks
reincarnated.
Oh shit.
The one he lost in the dryer right before he did the right before he wrote Caveat Emptor, he was doing laundry and he lost, the sock in the dryer. Only his right sock though. He already had the left one. That sock died, was reborn, and now it's mine.
Only one of them, huh? Only one of them. The other sock's mad, like, frick you, I should have went.
You already know the dryer always steals.
The white man dryer. The white man dryer.
What's up?
Yeah. But that was the one that got me. When he said that about the right, I was like, oh my God, this guy.
When he was tiptoeing around security as if security don't have guns, like he was literally tiptoeing like, you know, if we had a security peacekeeping force, but they don't force things, they just keep peace so that way we don't have police, because that, you know, that way they can keep the security of the peace. You're not saying anything. He's literally tiptoeing like a little rat trying to steal cheese out of your refrigerator. Don't see me, avoiding the fucking question.
Avoiding all the light. Just running along the baseboard.
Yeah. Scurry.
Oh snap.
Crazy.
Go crazy. Don't fall for it, yo. They're trying every weak mind right now. They're trying every weak mind. You see them trying Kwame Brown now. Because they can't shut him up. He doesn't have a plug for them to pull. And he's ripping all these conscious whoever's playing around. The hip-hop conscious whoever's, the freaking entertainment conscious whoever, the woke whoever's, ripping everybody. What are you guys doing for the community? Show me something you did in your community that's real. Don't show me some court that nobody uses. Something that's real.
They have nothing.
They're trying every weak mind right now. Don't be a weak mind. Don't be a weak mind.
Literally, you have to choose to be a weak mind. That's a choice.
You have to choose to be a weak mind.
It's funny in the video, right? Everything Rami said, we do. So it was like, what really? Is it just me? Like, do you just not like me?
Right. It's,
You know
I think it's just you or something.
Just
I
say
think
that.
it's just you. The personal one. It's a personal one.
I don't know. Maybe it's probably because I'm a fire sign and he's a water sign or something. So he gets real steamy. I don't fucking know.
Seems like he gets real steamed up by you.
You know, like,
Watch out for that steam with those soft hands and gentle.
Oh, did you see that?
Don't get too steamy.
All right, boy, let me hop on.
Yeah, do your thing, boy. Peace, Juju.
Peace. Cujo said peace, Juju.
Peace, Cujo.
You mean Roots K reincarnated?
Please,
and my daughter is your niece reincarnated. Get over it. Peace.
Right, that's how you know. Because you just put the facts out and then everything's right and exact. We'll just bring this one back up again before we close up.
So I have to make this quick video highlighting the hypocrisy of Rami Salam El as it pertains to the topics of Moors having the right to bear arms, or if Moors should bear arms, and also his hypocrisy of slandering Brother Jamal and his Rise of the Moors organization. So let's roll the footage.
Moorish Americans be bearing arms, having weapons and guns. No. Emphatic. No.
A few moments later.
I was thinking like, all right, what are Moors doing about it? Do we have, for example, do we have a Moorish security company?
Boy, if you don't get
Where, we have Moorish brothers and sisters, they'll go out into a whole entire community and they'll protect and serve. There'll be peace officers. Do we have a Moorish peace officer organization?
Not the cap.
We can send our brothers and sisters out and they can help protect and serve our community.
Rise of the Moors.
So we don't have to depend on the police. We don't have to call the police for anything. We can have the Moors happen.
Rise of the Moors.
What else did I put up? Do we have do Moors have a Moorish legal or law organization, legal company established?
Rise of the Moors.
That we're able to provide representation to our brothers and sisters that have been violated, terrorized, or murdered by the police. Do we have that established? Moors, do we? And let me just address the typical rebuttal, okay? The Second Amendment, we have the right to bear arms. Just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean that you should and you're required or it's mandatory that you use that right. Let me explain. Miranda rights.
Pause. Let me stop you right there. Okay. There is no Miranda rights. Okay, if you read the case law, it's not a right that you have. It's a Miranda warning. But the right to remain silent comes under the Fifth Amendment and the right against self-incrimination. So that's where the right to remain silent really stems from. You would know that if you knew law, but I guess they're not teaching law in the Moorish Science Temple of America that you go to, correct? But let's continue to this dumbass rebuttal.
You had a right to remain silent, especially the Moorish brothers out there. You get accused by a woman you've never seen, never met, never spoke to, never talked to in your life. You get accused by her that you raped. You got the right to remain silent. Are you going to say that you're innocent? Are you going to proclaim your innocence? You got the right to remain silent, right? 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 Just because you had a right doesn't mean you're required to use it. It's fair, right? And let me do you one better, though. This is how amazing a lie is. In our Quran, chapter 43, the insufficiency of knowledge, holy instructions from the prophet, it says, if thou art suspected, answer with freedom. Whom should suspicion affright except the guilty? Now, yes, we have the right to remain silent, but our divine teaching says you're suspected of something, answer with freedom, especially if you're not guilty of it. Just because we had a right doesn't mean we're required, is mandatory that we use it all the time. Likewise, just because we have the right to bear arms doesn't mean we're required or is mandatory for us to use it. And specifically for Moorish Americans,
So here's a rebuttal to that dumbass rebuttal, right? Okay, let's say it's 1 o'clock in the morning. You hear a loud banging in the house, and somebody has broken into your house. So the children are still asleep, and you get up to see what the commotion is, right? And it's somebody who has a gun, and you don't because you believe Moors shouldn't have guns, right? So who's going to win that battle when you two face off? More than likely, a person with a gun. So here's where rights to bear arms come into play. You don't have to walk around every day brandishing and showing your gun off to everybody. But you can use that right to defend yourself against someone else who has the same power or level of weapon that you have. So let's say a knife with a knife, fist with fist, a gun with a gun. That's common sense. So Noble Drew Ali isn't telling anyone to get rid of their common sense. He may have stated something in the context that he stated, but none of us know the context of which he stated to don't even carry around a pocket knife. We don't know what context he was speaking in. We just have hearsay of what someone said Noble Drew Ali said.